Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 surprises for a British girl living in Moscow, Russia. As I know a lot of you who watch my videos are interested in moving to Russia and specifically Moscow, so I thought I would share with you the main differences I found living here compared to the UK. And I used to live in London, so that's where I'm getting most of my comparisons from. While I share with you these 10 things, I'm also going to be showing you and trying different Russian drinks and foods that we don't have in the UK because I thought it might be a little bit more interesting that way. So let's get into the video. Number one is the people, and the people here are so welcoming, and that was a surprise for me because I think in the UK people perceive Russians as a little bit cold, a little bit rude, but when you're actually here, they're so welcoming, and I actually think they're a bit more welcoming than British people in general, because the amount of times I've been invited to different events or experiences with Russians with barely knowing the people, for example going on a ski trip with people I don't even really know but they still want to invite us. So people are really welcoming and they just want to bring you along, which is super nice, and I never really had that in the UK. So yeah, I've just had some great experiences here and people are really nice and welcoming. Before we get into number two, I want to share with you this Russian drink which is called kefir. I think it's really moving into the UK now because people are getting into gut health, and this is really good for your gut health because it has good bacteria. This drink is like a fermented milk drink, which sounds kind of gross, but I will pour it to show you what the texture's like. If you've never had kefir before, you can actually get kefir in like loads of Polish shops. So if you want to try it, go to a Polish shop and have a go, because there aren't really many Russian shops in the UK, but there's a lot of Polish shops. I don't know if you just saw that. It's a little bit lumpy, but here it is. It's quite a thick milk. I really like this. It's probably one of my favorite Russian drinks out there. It's just a really thick milk and it's kind of like yogurt, and it's tingly a bit as well because there's that good bacteria because it's fermented. I personally really like fermented stuff. I'm not sure if you guys do, but I really like it, so that's why I like kefir. Number two is the winters are super cold, and no, that is not the surprise. I knew that before coming here, but the surprise was how pleasant it actually is. It's actually not bad when it's negative 20, 25 degrees. You can actually just walk down the street and be okay, and it doesn't feel like you're being tortured. In the UK, if it was negative 20 or 25 degrees, it would be so painful to walk outside, and actually I think that's because of the wind. Because it's so windy in the UK, you really feel the cold on your skin, but here it's very dry and the snow is really pleasant to walk on, and there's not much wind at all. Maybe once in a while there'll be a bit of wind on some days, but most of the time there's no wind, and it's really nice and it's beautiful. The winters are absolutely beautiful here. Before we move on to number three, I have another drink to share with you, which is actually another fermented milk drink with some more good bacteria in, and it's called Ryazhenka, and it's very similar to kefir, obviously, because it's a fermented milk. However, this one they use different bacteria in. I actually prefer kefir compared to this one, but this one's also nice. My boyfriend actually prefers this one too. He says he thinks it's a little bit sweet. So if you don't really like kefir, maybe give this one a go and see how you like this one. I've actually never come across this one in the UK. I think it's a very Russian drink, so I don't think you can find it in Polish shops. I may be incorrect, have a look. Maybe that's changed since then, but yeah, it's called Ryazhenka, and you can get it in bigger bottles here, but obviously I'm doing this for a video, so I don't want to get two big bottles. I've got quite a few of these drinks. So here it is. It's more yellow in colour compared to the other one, as you can see. It's a little bit more yellowy orange. It also has like a little bit of a different smell to it too. And yeah, it's interesting. It more tastes like a yogurt than the kefir. The kefir is more tingly, I feel like. Number three is the homes are so warm here, which is really nice. Coming from the UK, if you're Russian and you've never been to the UK, the homes are so cold. I think they're just not insulated correctly. Also, on average, the temperature that people heat the homes and the buildings is much lower in the UK compared to Russia. Also, people in the UK always switch off the heating during the summers, during the springs. Even if it's super cold, they'll still turn off the heating because people say, oh, it's the spring, we don't need heating. And then you're freezing. And whilst here, It's really warm, everywhere's well insulated, and it's just really cozy being in a building. It's really nice. The next Russian food I'm going to share with you is this one right here. I'm not sure if my camera's going to focus on it. There you go. I got a new camera. I'm not sure if you noticed, my background isn't blurred anymore. I want to get a different lens to blur out the background, but I'm really enjoying this camera. Hopefully this video is going to turn out well. But anyway, this is a little dessert, I think. I see so many of these in the dairy aisle in every shop. They have a huge selection of them, and I've got it once before and they're really nice. So here it is. It's quite small, but I think it's very sweet, so you don't need much more than this. That's really nice. It's quite different compared to the last one I had, but all of them I believe have some sort of cottage cheese in the middle. And it's super, super creamy, and the outside is, it's kind of caramelly, kind of chocolate. It's really tasty though, very, very sweet. It's definitely for those who have a sweet tooth like myself. It's really nice. So it's clearly something we don't have in the UK, because I've never seen a cottage cheese little dessert that's sweet and you find in the fridge aisle. So there you go. Number 4 is the metro, and I love the metro here. I used to live and work in central London, and some days I would take the underground, but most days I would actually cycle to work because I really hated the tube. It would be overcrowded all the time, very expensive. It would cost about £6 a day, so about 600 rubles a day just to go like 3 stops away. I live central London, so literally it was 3 stops, and it's just insanely expensive, so that's why I ended up cycling. Here obviously you can't cycle, which is super annoying because I would love to cycle around Moscow. I'm sure there's some areas which you can cycle around, but the majority of it you wouldn't cycle around. But the metro is amazing. I can't fault it. I have never seen a delay, to be honest, and they come very, very frequently. Every 1 minute or 58 seconds or something there's a new train that comes, which is great because you don't feel the need to run. I mean, most people do run if they see the train coming, but yeah, you don't really need to because the next one will be in less than a minute, so that's pretty good. Before we get on to number 5, I want to show you this cottage cheese. I'm going to show you a couple cottage cheeses. This one specifically is very, very close to the one we have in the UK, which is why I wanted to share it with you. I actually personally don't like this. I tried it and I didn't like it, so now it's just sitting in our fridge. This one is called Tvorzhnoye Zerno, and it's quite a liquidy cottage cheese. They're usually more dry, and I'll show you after point number 5 what I mean. But as you can see, it's very close. I'm not sure if you can see that. It's very close to the ones in the UK. I've got a spoon just to show you for reference. It's kind of got those kind of like bits in the liquid, which is the one, it's like the cottage cheese we have in the UK, but I wanted to show you that we do have a very similar cottage cheese here, but it's not the one that people usually get. I don't think it's the most popular one here. Number 5 is the streets are very clean, and I know, just a disclaimer, I know that the government invests loads of money into Moscow because it is the capital city and there are so many people that live and work here. And I know that other areas in Russia aren't maybe as clean, but in Moscow it's very pleasant because it is so clean and tidy. You always see people sweeping the streets. You see those like cars with the sweepers on to clean the streets. So yeah, it's just really clean here. The next Russian food item I want to show you is tvorog, and this is cottage cheese. So this is the proper stuff that people have here, and it's a very crumbly texture. I don't really want to open it because it will go bad quicker if I open it, but as you can see, it's a very, very crumbly mixture, and you can get them at different fat percentages. So this one is 5%. And yeah, you usually put it with some sour cream and you mix it together, or you can use jam or honey or something like that. And it's a great breakfast to have. It's quite healthy and tasty as well. Number 6 is the amount of police there are in Moscow specifically. Once again, I'm not sure about the rest of Russia. Do let me know if you live in a different area in Russia, and let me know how much police there is in your town or city. But again, in Moscow, there is a lot of police. And actually, I kind of knew there'd be a lot of police because you obviously see it in like videos on the news and stuff. But I thought I would feel quite scared, on edge. But actually, I personally feel very, very safe. There is so many police. A lot of them are very young as well. They look like they're in their early 20s or like even maybe 19. I don't know if that's pushing it or something. But they look very, very young, and they look look kind of, not relaxed, but you do see them on public transport and stuff, so it makes them feel like one of you, you know? But yeah, it does make me feel quite safe because they are just everywhere, so I know if something is about to go down, they'll be on it straight away. Number 7 is that they don't recycle here, which was quite the adjustment because specifically in London, it's not as strict because we only have 2 recycling bins, like kind of recycling and the normal, like everything else, compostable stuff. But where my family live just outside of London, it's really, really strict with recycling. You have like, I believe like 4 or 5 recycling bins where you have to sort out like metals, plastics, like all of this outside. And if anything is contaminated, the rubbish men will literally just leave your whole rubbish there, and you'll have to make sure everything is not contaminated before the next week, so they will accept your rubbish, which is quite ridiculous because if you compare it to bigger countries where they don't recycle, our impact is very, very small. But it's good that we recycle, that's not my point. But yeah, they don't recycle here. But in the apartments, there is like a rubbish chute where you can just leave your apartment, and there's like a chute that goes down that takes your bin bag, so you don't need to go outside, which is really nice. The next Russian food I'm going to be showing you is Vyot Tvorog, and here it is. It's kind of sold near the yogurts, so I believe that people just buy this as like a breakfast, like an individual breakfast thing. And I'm going to show you now the texture. So this is cottage cheese, but I've never had this before, so I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's a very, very thick yogurt, but it has like tiny, tiny cottage cheese bits in it. I'm not sure if you can really see that. There's like specks of cottage cheese. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Number 8 is Georgian food, and we don't actually have Georgian food in the UK. I believe there may be a couple restaurants in London, but it's not a food that most British people have heard of, and I hadn't heard of before I came to Russia either. But it's massive here. I've heard that some people kind of compare it to like Indian food in the UK, because you can see Indian food everywhere. So the food's obviously from a country called Georgia, and it's really, really nice actually, and it's quite healthy, I believe, as well. They have like nice little salads that like have spinach and like a pomegranate seed on the top. We quite like that. They also have like giant pelmeni, but it has its own name. They also have like these big cheesy pizzas. There's also like an egg shape, not an egg shape, but like an oval shape with like an egg in the middle with like cheese underneath. Some really interesting dishes, and yeah, it's just everywhere here, and we just don't have it in the UK. I feel like we should bring it over, you know, to bring over the Georgian food, because it's really nice. Before we get on to number 9, I want to show you this, which is smetana. We do actually have this in the UK. It's called sour cream, but they sell it in like the tiniest little tubs, because clearly British people don't use sour cream a lot, but here they use it on everything. It's a good garnish, it goes in things like, I personally use smetana in curry, I use smetana in stroganoff. There are loads of dishes I actually use it as kind of like the main like creamy thing in the dish. So it's definitely my go-to, and smetana doesn't cost that much either. Maybe this costs like 30 rubles, so like 30p. So yeah, this is definitely an essential in my fridge. And if you've never had it before and you're wondering the taste and texture of it, it's like a thick plain yogurt without literally any taste, but it's quite nice and refreshing. Number 9 is the free activities that are provided here. And for example, in the UK, if you wanted to get out and maybe go ice skating or something, you'd have to pay for entry to go to an ice rink. You'd have to hire ice skates, because usually you would only go maybe once every 2 years ice skating. But here, during the winter, there's ice rinks literally outside on your doorstep, because the local, I'm not sure if it's like local council, but I think it's like the, oh, what's it called? The people who look after the buildings, like caretakers, they create the like ice rinks and look after it for free, which is amazing. And you can buy some cheap ice skates for maybe like 2,000 rubles, so £20, and go ice skating so easily. And there's all these different activities that are provided, yeah, just outside. So it's a great way to motivate yourself to get out, because in the UK, you have to pay for everything. The last food item that I have is dried fish, and I've actually never tried it, but it's a big thing here. I'm personally not attracted to dried fish. It's not something that I find very appetizing, the idea of it, but it is a big thing here, and they have like 2-3 aisles of fish and dried fish here. So yeah, I did want to show you this. Okay, I just had to go and get some scissors because that was very difficult to open. But here we are. You can get them different sizes, obviously different types of fish and stuff. It's a little bit wet. I thought it'd be more dry, to be honest. Maybe I got the wrong one, but here it is. I guess I just eat it like this. I really hope I do eat it like this. Okay, yeah, I am eating it right because it is cooked. I was scared for a second it was uncooked. But here it is. Yeah, it's actually quite nice. Number 10 is the choice of meat. And I have mentioned this before in my previous videos, but the choice of meat here is quite shocking. And I'm talking about in the supermarket, because obviously you can go to a butcher, but in the supermarket there is two halves of aisles. I go to Grostuk, and there's like two half aisles next to each other. One is of chicken, so this is just chicken and a bit of turkey, and the other one has beef and pork and like everything else, duck and like rabbit. They even sell rabbit here. Also another surprising thing, it's bonus point, number 11. But yeah, the choice of meat is very, very small compared to the biscuit aisle. There is maybe like 4-5 aisles of biscuits here compared to one aisle of meat. So yeah, it's pretty shocking, but that was a surprise for me because I never thought meat would be an issue, but it is here, and the quality of meat isn't very good either. So that's it for this video. I really hoped you enjoyed it. Shout out to my mum who gave me this idea for showing you different products that people eat in Russia that people don't eat in the UK. And do let me know if you enjoyed the mixture between showing you those food items and telling you information. I thought it might be more interesting showing you the two together. So do let me know if you enjoy that sort of format, because I'll do more of it if you do. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next Sunday for another video all about living and working in Moscow. Bye!